Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rambling Toffee podcast. I hope everybody is doing really, really well today. I just want to wish everybody a happy new year and hope you all have a great 2025. Um, how can I get started on this podcast, really? It's been about a month since I did my last one, and nothing's changed, really. I think, yes, okay, the three games that we played against Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester City over through December, everybody was thought, think, oh God, we're going to get thrashed in every game. We're not going to create any opportunities, or we're just waiting for defeat after defeat after defeat, and it was just surprising that we got points against each of those teams because that's what your expectation is going to be like. Because pre that, we've been poor. The last win was against Wolves, who were also not doing very well at that point in time. They sat their managers not long after, and look what's happened to them. They brought in a manager that was interested in coming to Everton a few years ago before Lampard came in, and basically he's turned things around a little bit. They've had that bounce that you get from a new manager, and they're moving up a little bit further. So for them, it's that's what happens when you make the changes and make them those decisions. But those three games, yes, I was surprised about them. I was impressed. A defensive display. It was great to see a defensive side of it that we were, on top of that, and it seems to be that the confidence was there in the defensive display. But going forward, it was same old, same old. Can't create any opportunity. We have no pace in that team. It's been crying out for pace. The summer was a great opportunity to try and bring players in with pace on the wing, so we can get further forward, get the team going further forward, that we can be a little bit more attack minded. And the same old from last season, it was just the manager and yes, Sean Dyche. Everybody's talking about the game yesterday. I'll get into that in a moment, but I've said for all along this season, specifically, last season there was a period of time where we weren't winning games and playing poorly, but we got those wins near the end of the season to basically be comfortable in the Premier League anyway, and okay, point deduction and everything else, and we came through it. The optimism was there that get some players in. Yes, play maybe have to be sold, and we have to use PSR issues and everything else. Use money properly, and we brought some players in the summer, but then he didn't play them at the beginning. He stuck with the same old team from last season, and when we had that poor start, even then, and I've said it all along, my feelings about Sean Dyche, and I'm sorry, this podcast is going to be about him and what his effect, what he has been doing to this team, because he's not changing, he's not adapting it. He's now playing players that were signed, but they've not hit the ground running, and we're not seeing what they're capable. Are they good enough players? Are they good enough for the structure, the setup that Sean Dyche puts together? But I've always said all along, after those defeats at the beginning of the season, is that he we need change. Obviously, we are going through a takeover at that point, and something needs to give. So the club obviously made the decision not to change it because they were going through a takeover, and it's as simple as that. Um, but from my mind, we needed to improve and get better, do different things, try something different, play younger players. That Anderson played. I mean, sorry, Armstrong. Sorry, I got the wrong. Armstrong played yesterday against Bournemouth and played okay when he came on. He showed flashes of what he's capable of going into in the future. Patterson came on, had an okay game. Okay, there was a few dicey moments here and there, but he played okay when he came on. Okay, yes, he's still young, but it's like this is what we're in this position now. But if we go back to that Bournemouth game as an example, when everything curtailed, and in that 10 minutes at Goodison, where everything went wrong, the wrong decisions were made by the manager at that point in time. In that 10 minutes, despite the fact that we played really well for that 70 something minutes, but that last 10 minutes, everything just went, and it's a mentality thing there. And the manager knew it was coming because he said after the game he smelt something happening. He knew something was going to happen, that this was going to change, that the game was going to change that way. But the changes he made were the wrong ones. He should have shored up the defence because they were tiring. That was going back then. And that was his first excuse. But then also it was like, I saw it, but I didn't really do anything about it. And it just went that way. And, you know, we got the win obviously against Palace. And that was that short. That first half was terrible again. They were one up, playing well. For Palace were. We came out in that second half. We must have had a rocket from James Coleman, if you remember at that time. And then we got two quick fire goals and we hung on and got 3 points. And we just thought, oh, finally. But no, since then it's just been same old. Same setup, same players, sticking with, the same. And then all of a sudden we've had Brozier come in, obviously, coming through injury. And then he's been given a couple of opportunities in the last couple of games to start games. And in the first game, obviously against Forest, he was just chasing shadows. He was trying as hard as he possibly can to get the ball down to try and make any kind of impact. And I saw in that game him running towards the midfield to get the ball. He was even in a defensive sense at some point to try and get the ball, to try and do something with it, because Sean Dyche sets the team up in such a way that our setup is to be defensive for the whole of the game. And if all we do is if we launch the ball to go at Calvert-Lewin, and if we get a drop down or a mistake from their defence or something happens, get a corner, get an assist where it's been our strength last season, we can get an opportunity to score. That's the only opportunity. That's the only way we play. So when we see the ball when we do get the ball, and I've seen it. Chelsea was an example. Okay, it's Chelsea. There was an example in that game where basically we were further up the field, we were on the attack, and we just seemed to slow right down, pass the ball, and we didn't know how to pass to each other. And it ended up back to Jordan Pickford, who launches it up to Calvert Lewin, and he doesn't get to it, obviously, and it goes out. And basically, that's how it is. And the Forest game, same example. Keep on launching, keep on hoping that a mistake will happen, that something happened. It didn't. And if he thinks that the manager, if he thinks in that game, he thinks that we were a lot better in that second half, I don't know what he was watching, because we weren't. We mildly a little bit, improved a little bit here or there because Lindstrom came on, and I think Patterson came on as well. So Patterson is a fine winger, a wing back, more of a wing back. So he was getting forward. That's his strength. That's what he's supposed to be good at. And he was getting crosses in, and we were a little bit better going forward because we were getting further forward at that point. But it was back to the same old because he went back to the same thing. He put Ashley Young, Mikalenko is not playing very well, not performing great, making mistakes and errors all the time. He put Ashley Young on, obviously, on the other side. He reverted back to his usual setup. Patterson back on the bench after he showed signs he can, give him an opportunity to come in. He didn't. And we come to the Bournemouth game, and he came on in the second half and he played okay, Patterson. And Armstrong, as I say, he came on, did okay, but it was the same old. Nothing ever changed because it was it was the first time that he actually made a decision to change it and put Ashley Young further up the midfield, um, with Patterson on one side, and basically, I can't remember what the decision was, but he changed it, made it a little bit more, tried to be a bit more a threat, but it didn't really work. And again, Sean Dyche's mindset is, well, we tried that, um, but Calvert Lewin came on for Brozier, obviously, and then there was one incident when I think it was Patterson got the ball, or was it Lindstrom? It might be Patterson, sorry. Went to go and shoot, and he smacked off down at Calvert Lewin. I think it was Lindstrom. I can't remember. Sorry, but it's just, and this then is down to the manager itself, that what he says after the game and his reaction, and the player's reaction is one thing. I heard that as they're going down the tunnel, Jordan Pickford shouted at someone. We don't know if it was Sean Dyche or the referee, but Sean Dyche was out next to it. I don't know if that's true or not. So there's players obviously not happy because they're not performing. They're not playing well. They're not. The confidence is shot. Mikalenko, as I mentioned, has not been performing very well. He's always been very good defensively as an attacking outlet. He hasn't. He's never been a very good attacking mind, but he's been okay defensively. Last season specifically, he's been okay, but no, he's been very very poor. And the errors he's making yesterday specifically, we could have been 5 or 6. It was how many penalty shouts that they had as well in the game, which went away, and we had no shots on target. And that's, you know, one of the media guys, the local media, Joe Thomas, asked him the question. He didn't like it, but we've had no shots on target, and we need to win football matches. The whole point is, I sent a tweet out yesterday, and it's always to the guys and girls who go down to travel to all over the country for the watch Everton play. And I just wish them all the best, safe journeys down. Let's hope we get the 3 points. I hope 100% of the fan base all have that same thinking before a game. I sent that tweet out, and just to wish everybody safe journeys because it's cold, it's winter. Obviously it's miserable at the moment. We've had snow overnight and everything else. It's bitter, but I just want to wish them safe journeys, and I just always hope 3 points, and I hope you all want 3 points. That's what we hope every game that we Everton play is that we hope that we go out, put a performance in, and we win. And that's the hope. I pay my money to go and watch Everton play, obviously at home games, in the hope every game that is this today that we're going to see Everton play well, put a performance in, and win a football match, or we're not. But that's the hope. And but this has been a long, long time. Sean Dyche has been in the job for 2 years now, nearly 2 years, and he came in this month just before the transfer window ended, shut down, a couple of seasons ago, and he comes out and says it was all the noise and all the issues from before he came to the club, and he comes up with excuses. But he's been at the club for 2 years, and in that time he should have created or rectified or put a team together that was stable enough while we went through all the off the field stuff that was going on and to get us in a position. That's his job. And he's done that to an extent. But this season we've gone backwards and backwards, backwards. I'm not going to go into the stats. The stats are there to see, and it's really terrible. It's getting towards the Walker era when it comes to wins and defeats and points and mass over a period of time. And I think it's still something like 9 wins in 2024. 9 wins in 2024. And I look at that. That is the stat. Forget about your draws and all your points. And I know people out there will say, well, I saw someone say, well, if we draw all our games all season, we'll be safe. Why should we think like that? The mentality is not that. We can't think like that. We have to want to win football matches. The whole purpose of watching football, or the purpose of the team, or the manager, or everybody's at the club, is when the team goes out, the purpose of those players is they want to win a football match. The purpose of that manager should be the same thing, is to set up mentally to want to win a football match. And what that does is that's what it's all about. You can settle defensively. What in an ideal world, we should all want to be like Liverpool Football Club at this moment. As much as it's terrible for me to say, but they've got a balance at the moment where defensively they're very strong, but also defense attack minded. Is they've got the right attackers. They've got the right balance going on. Yeah, and they may concede a goal here or there, but predominantly they score goals and win. They've got players across their team that can score goals, and they're all set up. So the new manager's just come in and basically tweaked it a little bit, not changed much, and they basically look at them what they're doing at the moment, and that it looks like they're going to race for the title because they're just in that position. They've just moved on, and I'm not saying Everton should be like Liverpool and play that way. I would love to see Everton be competitive with Liverpool, but in a few years' time, 5, 6 years, 5, 6 years' time, when hopefully everything is set up and structured in a way. And that's what TFG have come in, taken over. Hopefully they want to do lots for the academy. They want to do more to bring young players to come through into the first team, add value to it. That's what we want, and to create and get this club back into a position. Also, sign players and bring players in as well, short term in a sense, good players to with these young players to come in and start building a squad. But you're not going to do it with this manager. And as much as they come in and they may have a mindset or what's been said, let's keep it till the summer because obviously Dyche has not been given any extension to his contract. He's he's got 6 months left. If they're all thinking like that, they need to change that thinking. And if they're thinking that we've got a manager that we want to bring in, speculating here for summer, so we need to get to the summer and be in the Premier League. Well, at the moment in time, I can't see a win. That result yesterday, I can't see where we could score a goal. I can't see how we're going to get a win. Where's it going to come from? I can't see it with the players playing the way that they are at the moment in time. And even if we bring in a couple of players, in the transfer window, if we can get some players in, but because obviously the PSR issue is popping up again, that we can't spend as much yet until the summer, that when the new accounting year comes in, that we can spend more money. But we've got 12, 13 players out of contract on loan, all going, leaving. We need to get that sorted. Well, you can't do it with this manager because he's not the one. He's going to go forward by the looks of it. And on performance alone, we've got a situation where we've got an FA Cup game next week, which is just an FA Cup game at home. But then we've got a lot of home games with Tottenham. We've got Aston Villa and then Tottenham at home. Tottenham obviously conceding goals, but they can still score goals. And they're a damn sight better than what we are. Aston Villa, look where they are. So, that's going to be a tough one as well. So, we need to sort this out as quickly as possible. And the manager is the problem. The players, yes, what they do on the field, yes, they're not performing. But the managers is their job. He gets paid. Is it speculated 5 million a year of his contract? He's been paid 5 million. His job and his coaching setup is to set that team up to win football matches, to go out there and be confident, to be confident in the players and the players to be confident in him, because it's a two-way street here. And I just feel the players don't have any confidence in him at all. The only players that are doing well, yesterday's game, Brantford, I thought, except for that duck for the goal, he was working defensively really well and blocking everything that was going at him in a defensive sense. Jordan Pickford, again, say how many saves he made yesterday was unbelievable. And it could have been a cricket score. The way that game, if we didn't have a Jordan Pickford in goal, it might have been a very different story yesterday. And then questions, then the media would have been jumping on it. And this is another story I want to talk about in a minute. But I'll get Sean Dyche, the confidence the players don't have in him, and vice versa. The fact is, yesterday, Anderson Armstrong came on, Patterson came on, Mangala went off. So there's a personal issue that he said after the game regarding Mangala happened in the midweek, and that's why he brought him off for the second half. So obviously I don't know what that was. So okay, the player that wasn't playing very well yesterday at all, and there's quite a few of them weren't playing very well, was Decore in that midfield. He was giving the ball away. His passing actually was terrible. He could do. Why wasn't he not taken off? Why wasn't he taken off? What was something changed on that? He wasn't performing very well at all, and he was giving the ball away countless times. Idrissa Gueye was giving the ball away several times. It was one of his poor performances as well yesterday, and you could just see it. But this is where it's down to, is that the manager has confidence in certain players who can do a job for him, and he'll stick with them through thick and thin. Doesn't matter how you perform. It's like Mikalenko, not performing very well. There's an opportunity there where you could have put Ashley on that side and you could put Patterson on the other side, and basically you could have taken Mikalenko out of the game because he's not performing very well. But he's sticking with players that he knows can do a defensive job, he thinks can do defensively, but they weren't performing well yesterday. And they've not been performing well for a period of time. And he just keeps, and this is where the manager it's now making more and more excuses, blaming the fact it was from something happened in the past. He's had 2 years to do with this. It's time for him to go. Time is now, is the essence. He can't. We got to get whoever it may be, even if it's like bringing Leighton Baines in from the under 18s to the end of the season. I don't know. Whatever it may be, put him on garden leave if you can actually do that. If it's anything about because you have to pay him out and his coaching staff, do something because TFG needs to make that statement. He did it at Roma. We've all seen it. Not performing well. Quite quickly, they got rid of and in fact went get somebody else in as quickly as possible. They can do that. I know it's a payout, and it may have an effect on PSR. It may have an effect on the fact that we won't be able to bring players in. But the thing is also if you're bringing players in for January, and if they are permanent signings, if you're that player and the agent say, "Oh, Everton are interested in you. We've accepted a bid. Are you interested?" No, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be under that manager. And you probably heard from other players that know him. I don't want to go, and we don't get the players that we want. That could be another reason. And if we don't get the players, because if they, why would he want to come to a team where that manager is not going to be there in the summer, and you're a permanent signing, you signed a 3-year contract, say, when is, you know, why is he not, you know, why should I come? If it's a loan to the end of the season, maybe a player will come in because he needs football, needs to play games. Maybe maybe that'll work, but that's looking likely that's the only way it's going to work. But the manager, his job is untenable. It feels like very much the last period of the Tory party, where basically they were everything, everyone was critical of them, and every decision that they made, everything that they did was wrong. We all know how bad they were running the country, and basically they were coming out and say, "Oh no, everything's fine, we're doing all right." It was this that they were finding excuses for everything. It just feels like that, and basically no one's making the decision on that person that should leave, and they just think, "Oh no, he's doing a great job, he's doing all right. We still have confidence in him. We think we're going through changes at the moment. We have to be patient and blah blah blah." That's the excuse. So I just think no, this is just not good. It just needs to happen now, because we've got a situation where basically, if he goes now, and if it is a person lined up to come in, if it's on a temporary basis or whatever, we can probably get some people in, get players in. Even if it's only on loan, or the players know that this is the manager that's going to come in the summer, and this is just a stop interim period, till we get to the end of the season, because the players who are currently there, they need rejuvenated. They need confidence put in them. They need a change in the way that we play football, the style, and everything else. Something has to change, and it's not going to happen under this manager or his coaching setup. There's no, it's just got to end. What do you think? I know probably 99% of the people on social media, he needs to go today. And that's the reaction he's been getting, even after Forest game, same reaction. I think the hope, when we have the hope with every game. My hope, the next game, yes, it's a FA Cup game, so we may win that one. So it is Peterborough, but the way we're playing at the moment, you just never know, do you? And I think the appetite from fans who will go to the game on Thursday, it might not be as many people there. They might have just decided they can't be bothered to go and watch it because it's going to be same old, and you're going to see the apathy there. And as all well and good that we have the positives before Christmas of TFG coming in and the stadium being completed and everything else that's going on, getting new season going into the new stadium, test events and everything else. This is hanging over everything, and if they can make that change and do it as soon as possible, then what will happen is it rejuvenates the fan base. There's a hope there. We will go into the next games optimistic, and we'll get behind a new manager, whoever that may be, and the players, and whatever happens. Hopefully, it just gives everybody a lift, and that's where you get the bounce. And hopefully, we can. It doesn't always work, but that is the risk that these new owners have to take. Is that they have to do it. They can't be stable and think we're bringing stability to the club off the field on the field, there's no stability on it. That's where we are. If Ipswich do play today and they get a result, because they beat Chelsea the other week, and if they can get a result, then they'll go above us, and basically we're in the bottom three by Monday. And then people say we've still got a lot of games. You're right, but this is the pivotal moment is to get this sorted now, and we move forward. And if then, as a fan base, we move forward with TFG, everybody's behind the new manager, whoever that may be, the players, if we can bring players in, we're all behind it. Everybody's going in one direction. At the moment, we're not all going in that direction. Everyone's going in a different direction. And with this team, that direction is down. If we continue to play like we're doing, and if we continue to employ this manager until the end of the season, it has to happen now. And so I'm being negative. I try to be positive, and that's what we all want, really. Is we got that with the owners, new owners coming in. We've got the debt being wiped to an extent. We've basically financially we're going to be a lot better off as we go into the new stadium. Hopefully, naming rights, that's going to bring in a lot of money. It's got lots of positive things off the field. That'll talk more in my next podcast next week, and hopefully talk more about that next week than this week, and talk more about us moving into the stadium, where we would like to sit in the stadium, and the test events, and the pricing and everything else regarding all the off-field stuff which is really really good and sounds fantastic, and it's going to be great going forward. That's a positive, and I'll talk more about that next week after the FA Cup game, and hopefully we'll find out more what happens with regarding Sean Dyche. Will he still be in the job? Will he still be here when we talk next week about that? We'll see. Anyway, it's a shorter podcast this week. Just want to rant basically how I feel about the manager, about the team at the moment, and just hope. Again, hope is the same thing, that things can be better in a few days' time. Hope that the next game we win. Hope the next game that we can improve and be better. But the only thing I'll say is it's not going to. It shouldn't be under this manager, personally. So on that note, thank you very much for listening to this podcast and watching this podcast. I do appreciate your feedback as usual and listening in. Hope everybody has a good week, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.